Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise, and they actually named it in the indictment, the Combs Enterprise. And they said that this enterprise consisted of him as the alleged leader, his employees, assistants, staff, allegedly, that were able to procure women and alleged male sex workers to engage in performances for his own sexual gratification. Where it differs from a mob indictment, it has all the elements of putting together this racketeering allegation of all these moving pieces using resources from his businesses. But the fact that this is about an allegation of sexual gratification being accomplished by alleged human trafficking. It's one of the most unique indictments I've ever seen.
Everyone in that courtroom held their breath the moment Christian Combs stood up. No polite goodbye, no forced smile, just a cold, calculated walkout that sent a message louder than any lawyer ever could. The trigger? A single phrase: underage guests at FREAKoffs. As soon as that was said, you could feel the atmosphere shift from a tense courtroom to something darker, heavier, almost sinister. The media called it a tantrum. His attorneys called it a strategic retreat. But the public saw it for what it was: panic, and not just because of what was said, but because of what was about to be said. The allegations that followed would have been dismissed as internet rumors if they hadn't come with court transcripts, audio recordings, and pictures of bruises. Grace Omari wasn't a paparazzi or an Instagram model. She was a yacht steward hired to pour champagne, not survive what she called a heavily drugged assault. Omari says the yacht was billed as a family getaway, chartered by Diddy himself. But once the sun went down, it became something else entirely. A non-stop spiral of partying, suspected sex workers, and shots that allegedly made people collapse after one sip. Christian, according to the lawsuit, was the one pushing those drinks. Audio recordings, secretly captured, reportedly catch Omari resisting Christian's advances, even as her voice becomes slurred. She asks if her drinks were spiked. He laughs. And then it turns silent. The next day, Omari had bruises on her arms, panic attacks, and a story no one wanted to hear. Until she filed that lawsuit, and the story got way bigger than anyone expected. Because Christian wasn't the only Combs name being dragged into this. Justin Combs, Diddy's other son, is named in a separate lawsuit filed by Lil Rod, a music producer who says both brothers didn't just know about the parties, they helped plan them. The lawsuit says Justin helped recruit girls, pass around money, and even film what prosecutors later called performances. Let's be clear, these weren't birthday parties with a DJ and balloons. The Manhattan indictment described FREAKoffs as calculated, drug-fueled sex acts, some involving minors, with Diddy's entire inner circle allegedly involved. So when Homeland Security raided Diddy's homes in LA, Miami, and New York in March 2025, it wasn't just about him. Christian was there too, cuffed, questioned, and released, but not cleared. Justin. Same story. Photos of both sons on the lawn, surrounded by agents and camera drones, instantly went viral. Diddy's team called it a media stunt. His ex, Misa Hilton, called it racially charged harassment. But the optics? Devastating. A family that built its brand on power and luxury now looked like the centerpiece of a federal crime board. Then came the receipts. Grace Omari's lawsuit included photos of her bruises, screenshots of messages, and most damning of all, transcripts of audio recordings allegedly capturing Christian saying things that no attorney once played in a courtroom. Her lawyers claimed the drinks were laced with GHB, that she was forcibly groped, that she barely escaped an assault. And in civil court, it doesn't take proof beyond a reasonable doubt, just more likely than not. By the time the press started calling it the Combs family RICO, the phrase had already gained traction online. Prosecutors labeled the operation the Combs Enterprise, with Diddy as the ringleader and his sons as key players. What's more disturbing is how long this may have been going on. Lil Rod says underage girls were at a 2018 party, that Justin helped bring them in, that the crew, including a woman named Christina, allegedly in charge of distributing drugs, were all employees, paid, protected, and silent. Until now. Even singer Tanya Wallace came forward. She told TMZ she was at a 2018 party where she believed some of the girls weren't adults. They looked too small, she said. It didn't feel right. But Christian's only public response? An Instagram post saying, "Stop with the caps." That's slang for stop lying. No comment, no denial, just a caption and silence after that. Which raises the question, is silence protection or an admission? Right now, Christian's facing a motion to dismiss. His lawyer says the lawsuit is baseless, that there's no metadata, no verified lab tests on the drinks, no admission on tape. But if the judge denies that motion, then comes discovery. That means emails, texts, yacht manifests, and sworn testimony. And that's when it could go nuclear. The Combs family has spent decades building a brand around resilience, around luxury, around the idea that they couldn't be touched. But now prosecutors want to prove they were untouchable because they owned everything. The homes, the boats, the staff, the cameras, and the silence. If Christian gets pulled into a superseding indictment, a second wave of federal charges, it means prosecutors believe he wasn't just present. He was involved. And if they get him on tape, he could be the key to taking down the entire Combs enterprise, because in cases like these, prosecutors love turning family members against each other. Christian may not be charged yet, but make no mistake, he's not walking out of that courtroom because he's confident. He's walking out because the walls are closing in. And if those tapes are real, if Grace Omari's bruises and transcripts check out, then Christian Combs might not just lose his music career, he might lose his freedom. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. When Christian Combs stormed out of that Los Angeles courtroom, the story wasn't over. In fact, it was just getting started. Behind the scenes, whispers turned into roars, and the Combs empire found itself fighting battles on every front. The moment Christian disappeared behind those courtroom doors, law firms across the country kicked into high gear. Attorneys representing alleged victims, ex-employees, even former friends began gathering evidence, sharpening lawsuits, and preparing for what insiders call discovery wars. Emails, guest lists, surveillance footage, everything was now fair game. And prosecutors, they weren't wasting time either. They started targeting what they call low-hanging fruit, people on the inside with just enough dirt to cut deals. At the center of it all, Grace Omari, the yacht steward who refused to stay silent. Her lawsuit wasn't just a personal vendetta. It was a grenade tossed right into the Combs family's carefully built facade. Every audio clip, every photograph of bruises, every text message she submitted now served as a ticking time bomb. And the pressure she's applying isn't just on Christian. It's on everyone who partied, paid, or participated. What's more, sources close to the investigation say Grace's legal team plans to subpoena a jaw-dropping list of witnesses, former yacht crew, security guards, party planners, and yes, even family members. If even half of those witnesses testify under oath, Christian's problems could escalate from civil allegations to criminal charges almost overnight. But Grace isn't the only one speaking up. As her lawsuit gained national attention, more allegations began to surface. Anonymous tips flooded hotlines. Former associates whispered about nights they wish they could forget. Some even described seeing underage girls escorted into private parties, allegedly under the watchful eyes of bodyguards hired by Diddy himself. Each new claim adds fuel to the fire, and the feds are paying attention. Meanwhile, Christian's once promising career has taken a nosedive. Sponsorships that once seemed ironclad have quietly pulled away. Fashion deals are on hold pending developments. His sneaker brand, Younger Luxury, the one he proudly launched, has seen its momentum stall. Radio stations that once played his singles now avoid even mentioning his name. The silence speaks volumes. And it's not just about his career. prosecutors are inching closer to what they call a superseding indictment, a second expanded set of charges that could name Christian directly. Superseding indictments are brutal. They're designed to shock defendants into cooperation. Flip or fall. Testify or take the hit alone. Christian's carefully curated social media presence hasn't helped either. Investigators are combing through his posts, looking for inconsistencies, admissions, or evidence of consciousness of guilt. Even his simple "stop with the caps" post is being dissected by legal analysts, wondering if it could be used to portray arrogance or defiance in court. But perhaps the most devastating blow is coming from within. Insiders whisper that the once-tight Combs family circle is cracking. Paranoia runs rampant. Some staffers, fearing federal charges, are reportedly negotiating immunity deals. And behind closed doors, blame is flying. Some accuse Diddy of dragging his sons into his chaos. Others blame Christian for being reckless enough to get caught. Family loyalty, once the bedrock of the Combs brand, is now a liability. And as investigators dig deeper, they're finding that the FREAKoffs weren't just random debauchery. They were networking events. Celebrities, politicians, tech moguls all allegedly brushed shoulders at these gatherings, and now some of those same names are desperate to stay hidden. Silent settlements, quiet payoffs, and panicked damage control are unfolding across Hollywood. Because if Christian's case goes to full discovery, if subpoenas fly and witnesses start talking, it won't just be Christian Combs and Sean Diddy Combs under the microscope. It'll be a who's who of Hollywood's elite. The Combs dynasty is teetering, and Christian's choices in the coming months may decide whether it collapses completely. Will he stay silent and risk going down with the ship? Or will he flip, trading secrets for survival? One thing's certain, the courtroom walkout was just the first act. The real drama is still to come. And when the dust settles, the question won't just be whether Christian survives, it'll be whether anyone from that empire does. This is Spill Society. Like, comment, tell me what you think, and subscribe.